going on, everybody? Welcome back to another late night in the BrewLab with me, Lone Fox, your brewmaster in chief. And tonight in the BrewLab, I'm continuing to rate the colors from Bloomburrow. I'm picking my favorite common, uncommon, rare, and mythic from each of the colors, as well as the multicolored and colorless from the entire set of Bloomburrow. Now that the whole, the entire set has been spoiled, so I've just finished recording black, which, if we follow the WUBRG acronym, means the next color we need to talk about is, of course, red. And there is some of my favorite cards in the set in red. Probably no surprises to those of you who've been following me for quite some time. Of course, we'll start from the bottom with the common card and then work our way up to the mythic one. So, without further ado, we're going to be looking at Might of the Meek. Hell yeah. This is so damn freaking sweet. We're losing it's called Ancestral Anger, I believe. 1 mana, sorcery speed. Target creature gets +1/+0 and trample until end of turn, and draw a card. And it was sorcery. That's rotating. It's a Crimson Vow card. Considering the fact that I think that Boros Mice is going to be the de facto best aggressive deck in the format going forward, this might age very badly, this statement, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that in like a few weeks' time, or at least for the first month or so of the new format, Boros Mice is going to freaking just destroy. It's going to be so fast, so aggressive, so strong. Stay tuned. Early access is only a few days away as I'm recording this. But Might of the Meek. Target creature gains trample until end of turn. It also gains +1/+0 till end of turn. And if you control a mouse, draw a card. Oh no. Aha, so you draw... Wow, that's even better. Now that I reread it, it's been a little while. You draw a card regardless, and you gain the trample regardless. But then you get a little extra +1/+0 if it's a mouse. So there's going to be mice with prowess. There's going to be mice that have Valiant, which care about targeting them with a spell, and then that's going to activate other things. The fact that this is 1 mana, the fact that it is instant, the fact that it gives trample, the fact that it's going to care about this new coming mouse deck, and the fact that it draws a card, just immediately cements this as my favorite red common from the set. Cannot wait to play it. It is the first deck we're going to play it during early access, so stay tuned. But I think this is going to be a 4 of in that deck, for freaking sure. Get those cards rolling, trigger the Valiant, trample, trigger the prowess. Whoo! Next up, for uncommon. Of course, I had to pick a mouse, right? Because I'm biased. I'm a tribal, freaking aggro tribal mage. We all know that. So, there were some other choices which were pretty close to being really good. But I think this is also going to be a 4 of in that deck straight away. It's just immediately replacing the goblin. That's quite similar. It's worded differently. I think it's better in some ways and worse in others. It's better because it's +1/+1 counters that get put on it when you do the Valiant. Talking about Valiant, here we go. You know, with the other goblin that we have now, that the name is escaping me, that proliferates, and that you need to get in for the damage, then you can sack it, and then, usually you're buffing it with temporary until end of turn effects. So then, if it doesn't die in combat or whatever, then you've thrown all of your instants and sorceries at it, and boom, you didn't get to do the thing. Meh. At end of turn, it goes back to just being a 1/1. Here with Heartfire Hero, that +1/+1 counter is on there, and that means you can expect this to potentially get to a 2 to a 3 to a 4/4, and if it's one of those cards that the opponent has to answer, because quite rapidly with this Valiant ability, it's going to get to be to a point where they have to kill it, or it's going to destroy them with attacks. And when they do, they're going to be dealt damage equal to its power. It's not as good as this is one of the sides where it's less good than the Goblin, because it's not committing a crime. It's not target. You can't aim at the creature that it, so you can't block something bigger and then it dies and you point the rest of the damage at the creature you blocked to get rid of it finally. It's always just going to go to the opponent. It's more like commandery to each opponent. Regardless, I think if this mouse deck is going to be any good, this is going to be a part of it. So, hell yeah! That's my choice for best uncommon red card from WUBRG. Next up, onto the rares. No surprises. It's another mouse. And there were some choices here. There's another one that's also really freaking good. But I think this might end up... you'll probably end up playing 4 of both of them when it all is said and done. But this one is so freaking nice. The Offspring, which means later on in the game, turn 4, turn 5, this is not just a terrible top deck. It's really relevant. It immediately does something the turn it entered the battlefield. Yes, it doesn't have haste, but it's got this: at the beginning of combat on your turn, target mouse you control gains your choice of either double strike or trample. So if you have both of them or multiple copies of them, you can give multiple things both double strike and trample, and everybody knows how freaking good that is. And not only that, it's targeting one of your creatures, so it's going to be turning on your Valiant stuff. If mice is going to be any good, Manifold Mouse will be a 4 of in your mouse tribal aggro deck. Guaranteed. I'm surprised there's no comments here. Absolutely love the design, the art, everything. Even the fact that, like, when you play this with its Offspring, it's also going to turn on Celebration, because it's 2 permanents entering the battlefield, and we've already got some mice from Wilds of Eldraine that have Celebration. The cross synergies, the bring it on. Cannot wait to play this deck. And last but not least, taking a little detour away from the mice, my favorite mythic from the red color from WUBRG has to be Storm Splitter. This guy is going to be bananas. I can't wait to figure out a way to get this thing on the board. Maybe a turn early with some cheating, some ramping or something, or, you know, cost reduction of your... Basically, I have a feeling this will end up being like kinda a late game Illuminator Virtuoso style of thing, where you will want to play it when you also have the ability to ensure that it remains there until you can untap the next turn. And if you are allowed to untap with this deck, with this card on the battlefield, the chances are you will 100,000,000% win that game. Like, there's cards in the set that will give all of your creatures prowess. We've even already got one in Narset, but there's a otter that gives all of your other otters, or I think all of your creatures, period, prowess. So this is one of these cards that's exponential, and I can see now why they made it 4 mana and why they made it just a 1/4. Because if this was any cheaper or any bigger, oh my god. First time you cast an instant and sorcery, you're just going to make 1. But now you're casting another instant and sorceries, both of those are going to make another copies. Now you've gone to 4. Then you cast another instant and sorceries, you've got 4, you're going to go to 8. Boop, 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 boop. You see where I'm going. They've all got haste. If you've also got ways to give them all prowess, if you're also, you know, the things that you're casting to trigger it are also targeting those copies that you make. So obviously there'll be some sort of pump spell combat trick type thing. Out of nowhere you can suddenly have like a bajillion of these otters and just boom, 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 boom. This is going to be one of the cards that I'm going to be having the most fun trying to break and playing around. It's definitely a very BrewLab kind of a card. The fact that it's also going to slot into some sort of tribal, aggressively based spell slingery type deck, just friggin' take my money. I'm going to craft 4 of these on day 1, and I'm going to try my best to break it. If it's any good, you'll be the first to know, so stay tuned. But that is going to be it for red as far as WUBRG is concerned. So thank you all so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be seeing you all in the next one. So WUBRG next is green. So stay tuned for that. And until then, this is Lone Fox from the BrewLab signing out. Peace, y'all.